Behind glass, in a crowded London room, sits a slab of dark gray stone about the size of a tabletop. It is broken. Its top corners are gone. And the writing carved across it is, of all things, a tax decree, a piece of ancient government paperwork so dull that when it was made, almost no one would have stopped to read it. It is the most visited object in the British Museum. And it once did something no army, no king, and no weapon had ever done. It made a dead civilization speak again. So here is the question. How does a broken slab of bureaucratic stone become the key to 3,000 years of human history? Start with the object itself. It is a single piece of dark granodiorite, once part of a much larger stone. Look closely, and you see the writing is not one block, but three, stacked one above the other. Three different scripts. At the top, Egyptian hieroglyphs, the sacred picture writing. In the middle, a flowing cursive script called Demotic, the everyday hand of ordinary Egypt. And at the bottom, ancient Greek. Three scripts. But here is the trick. They all say the same thing. The text is a decree issued by a council of priests in the city of Memphis in the year 196 before Christ. It honors a boy king named Ptolemy V, granting temple privileges, forgiving debts, confirming tax breaks. It is, almost word for word, the kind of thing a government carves to remind everyone how generous it is. Why carve the same dull announcement 3 times? Because Egypt by then was ruled by Greeks, the dynasty of the Ptolemies, descended from one of Alexander's generals. So the decree had to speak to everyone at once, to the priests in the old sacred glyphs, to the people in their daily Demotic, and to the rulers in Greek. For a while, all 3 could be read. And then, slowly, the world went quiet. As Egypt's ancient religion faded, fewer and fewer people learned the sacred script. The last hieroglyphs we know of were carved around the year 394 on a temple wall at Philae. And then the knowledge of how to read them simply died. Not the writing. The writing was everywhere, on every wall and tomb and column in Egypt. What died was the ability to hear it. For roughly 1,400 years, no living person on Earth could read a single hieroglyph. And here is the strangest part. It was not only a lost key, it was a wrong idea. For centuries, scholars stared at hieroglyphs and assumed each little picture was a pure symbol. A bird meaning the soul, an eye meaning knowledge, a whole secret philosophy hidden in the shapes. They were trying to read a mind, not a language. That assumption was a locked door, and they had built it themselves. Then, in 1799, a group of French soldiers rebuilding a fort near the town of Rosetta in the Nile Delta pulled this stone out of the rubble. And someone noticed. The bottom was Greek, and Greek they could read. The same decree, presumably, sat above it in the lost script. For the first time in over 1,000 years, here was the same message in a language they knew and a language they had forgotten, side by side. The Greek was translated quickly. The hard part was the rest. An Englishman, Thomas Young, made the first cracks. He noticed that certain names were circled inside little ovals, and guessed those ovals must spell royal names out in sound. But it was a Frenchman, Jean-Francois Champollion, who finally broke it open in 1822. His leap was to abandon the old assumption entirely. The hieroglyphs were not pure symbols. They were partly an alphabet, signs that stood for sounds. Using the circled names of Ptolemy and Cleopatra and his knowledge of Coptic, the last living descendant of the Egyptian language, he proved it. The pictures were also letters. And with that, every wall in Egypt began to speak. 3,000 years of names and prayers, of contracts and complaints and grocery lists, of gods and kings and ordinary people, all of it, suddenly, readable again. So step back and look at what actually happened. The magic was never in the stone. The decree on it is forgettable. What mattered was an accident. The same boring message, carved 3 times in 3 scripts, one of which had never quite died. A whole civilization had not been lost because its records were destroyed. They were everywhere, in plain sight, the entire time. It was lost because we had forgotten the sound of its voice. We still borrow its name today. Any key that unlocks a hidden language, we call a Rosetta Stone. But the real lesson is stranger than that. An entire civilization can be standing right in front of you, carved into stone, painted across every wall, impossible to miss, and still be completely silent, until one person stops assuming and starts to listen. Subscribe to Wait, What?